Hey guys. No, hey. So just got back from work and so I bought these yesterday and we're gonna open some more. And I'm gonna talk about Pokemon because, well, at least the Pokemon movie, the new one just came out, the Pokemon Secrets of the Jungle. I mean, it was a pretty wholesome movie for the most part, but they made a big deal about Celebi in it. So spoiler alert, Celebi doesn't really show up till the very end and it doesn't really do anything. It wasn't like a you know, Pokemon Forever kind of thing where Celebi actually is throughout the movie and all that. No, it's a shiny Celebi and it shows up at the very end. They mention it throughout the movie. They also say that Celebi brings an egg from the future or something and puts it at the tree or some crap like that. But so the villain of the movie, you I knew exactly who the villain was as soon as he was introduced. His name is Dr. Zed, and I'm like, he's a villain. He's a villain. And he starts talking about uh, wanting to find the fountain, the water source of the power and all that, because it's got restorative properties and all that great stuff. I'm like, he's a villain. He's a villain. And then Coco, who is the human who was, raised by the Zarude, they find they find the lab where his parents worked, because they were part of the same little group or whatever that Dr. Zed is part of. They go to the actual lab, and Dr. Zed tells them that, I think his name was Al or L. I can't remember. It was like Al or L. But he said that, it was like, I'm sorry to tell you, but like your parents died, and they died in a car crash. I'm like, he did it. He's the villain. And you find out that he was indeed the one who killed them. And it was pretty weird. Like, okay, so he's chasing them through the rain. So the whole thing is, they didn't want to go any further with the push to get to the tree, because the Zarude lived there and it would kind of cut into the wildlife where the Pokemon lived, and they cared more about the Pokemon than the restorative properties of this water source. But he didn't care. He wanted to just keep pushing, and he's like, oh, my way's the right way, and the only way that I'll get to do it my way is if they're out of the picture. And so he fucking, like, he's chasing after them. They've got Coco with him. I'm just gonna call him Coco because to remember if it's Al or L, no point. So it's raining, and he drives them off the road, and he's like in this little capsule thing. Coco is. They're near the river, so they went all fucking Moses, and they like closed the thing and sent him down the river. And then they pan back up to his car, and then their car just fucking explodes. Like, they're on the ground right next to it, because they flipped out and they landed on the ground. And the car just fucking explodes. He just murdered 2 fucking people. Now, we've seen murder and everything in Pokemon before. In death. I mean, the Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo murdered every single scientist and everything in the laboratory. I mean, just in the room that he was in, there was, 7, 8 people? So all those people died. I assume that there were more in the lab. So he could have killed 20, 30, 40 people just when he, busted out and the whole thing explodes. But yeah, we've had death and stuff in Pokemon before. I'm like, hell, Tower of Terror. The episode Tower of Terror where he goes to Lavender Town and tries to catch a ghost Pokemon. Him and Pikachu get hit by the chandelier, and they flat out die. Because Haunter comes and like removes their spirit. So Pikachu and Ash are just essentially corpses for the entirety of the episode until they get back and it's like, yeah, sorry, we can't play anymore. And then they get back into their bodies. But that whole time, they were corpses on the fucking ground. Oh, we might have some luck today. Now remember, that means there's a holographic or above. Hopefully it's either, I mean, I'll just settle for anything. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the front. But, yeah. Ash just flat out died. Meowth, when they introduced Mimikyu, Meowth flat out fucking died. He was kind of in limbo. He could have gone towards the light, but James and Jesse revived him. So he gets killed by Mimikyu once, and then Mimikyu, because Jesse catches Mimikyu, Mimikyu is in the water and he's swimming around, but he doesn't have his disguise on. And Meowth's by the water. He sees Mimikyu, go by, and his eyes, Mimikyu's eyes do the light up thing, and Meowth dies again. Anyways, psychic. Fighting. Like metal saucer of milk. Salazzle doing a fancy dance. I like that. That's a nice fancy dance you got there, Salazzle. Splitbug. Sobble. Sweet little thing. Minccino. Again, sweet little thing. My Little Ponyta. Salandit. Oh, very nice. A reverse, and I believe that's a rare. Yep, a reverse rare Inteleon. And we've got, very nice, a Lapras V. Very nice. Try to get that in focus. Come on, Lapras. Yeah, you can still see it. I mean, there we go. I mean, look at that. That is gorgeous. Body Surf and Ocean Loop. Ocean Loop. Put 2 water energy attached to this Pokemon in your hand. Okay. So Ocean Loop. So it just, once it's in your hand, you can just keep applying them. But it does 210, so that's pretty good. But it does Body Surf. Body Surf. Attach a water energy card from your hand to this Pokemon. If you do, switch it with one of your benched Pokemon. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely gorgeous. I love Lapras cards. I love Lapras. Lapras is a great Pokemon. So, I have a feeling we're not going to get anything in here, but that Lapras, more than happy with that. And it's nice. It's always nice to get a reverse rare. So, that's what I want. I wanted the Lapras VMAX. But, ooh, that one came off. Oh. Oh, wait, did I show you that? Okay, hang on. I completely forgot. For you guys, the code card. That's 1, an incoming numero dos. Come on, pick up. It's like, I wanted to stay in. The freaking auto thing on here is freaking terrible. There we go. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4 to the front. What did I say last time? Psychic, and it was fighting. So let's go with lightning. Sudowoodo! Raboot. Vitality Band. Maractus. Sinistea. I like Sinistea. Sinister T. Scorbunny. Get louder, you Meowth. Meowth. Krogunk. Oh, a very nice reverse Ninetales, or not Ninetales, of Vulpix. Love me a little Vulpix. And also Vulpix, I wish they would have kept in his pre-evolution. He only had 3 tails, and it was really, really cute. But obviously, for people who don't know, Ninetales and Vulpix, they're based on that thing, the Kitsune. The older they get, the more tails they get, and the max amount of tails that they can grow is 9. Hence why, you had his pre-evolution, had 3 tails, evolves into Vulpix, gets 6 tails, and then finally, his name is flat out Ninetales. I also think about Naruto with a 9-tailed fox. So I love when they add Japanese mythology and lore and stuff into things. I just love it. But yep, a very nice Vulpix. And Professor's Research holographic. Not a whole lot there, but we did get that gorgeous Lapras. So I'm happy with that. Come on, Lapras, get in focus again. Ooh. Come on. It's like, yeah, a freaking thing updated, like the whole better camera, but it still takes forever for this thing to get in focus. And there you go. There you go, Lapras V. Just a gorgeous card. And that will be going in my binder. My Pokemons, let me show you them. Actually, I was going to talk about creepy Pokemon stuff, but I can just make that into an entire video in itself. Because there's a lot to talk about with Pokemon and how creepy it fucking is. Since I can't think of anything else for Halloween. So I just figured I'd just do that. Anyways, yeah, so, but I can continue talking about the movie. So the movie, it starts off, and it's really weird because you hear singing and chanting, and it's, human voices. But then we see it's the Zarude singing, and I'm like, what? No, don't tell me all these fucking Zarude can talk, because obviously, throughout the series and movies, there's always got to be at least one Pokemon that can talk. Meowth's the first one we know who could talk. There was an episode with a Lapras that could talk. Mewtwo could talk, telepathically at least. Lugia was able to talk. Entei in third movie was able to talk, but only because Molly kind of like personified her father as Entei, so she had her father's voice. But Jirachi and the Wish, I think Jirachi talked, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jirachi talked. So you get the point. There's always, once in a while, a Pokemon comes along, legendary or whatever, that can talk. Not a big deal. But here we are with Zarude, and they're all fucking talking. And, Coco is speaking English as well. I'm like, wait a minute. Are they all able to speak English? But then you realize after he meets Ash that he's not actually speaking English. They focus a lot on the Zarude, so naturally you're not going to want to listen to a bunch of grunts and Zarude. They could put subtitles like they did with Island of the Giant Pokemon when all the Pokemon were talking to each other, but that would have been really boring. So when we see just the Zarude and Coco talking to each other, we hear them as English. But if Ash is standing there, it just sounds like Zarude, 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 Za. It's like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I was having a TARDIS effect where it's like translating everything. You're all able to talk to each other. But the Zarude were pretty cool. They were like these, this family group. They have an elder, which as soon as they had said the elder, I'm like, oh god, he's gonna be like this really old Zarude, and he's gonna come out with a fucking walking stick, and there he comes, hunched over with a walking stick, and he sits there and he strokes his beard, and yeah, so Zarude and Coco, Zarude finds Coco as a baby, raises him, and all that stuff, and then they separate from the group. Things happen. You freaking meet General Zod. I might as well just call him General Zod, but Doctor Zed. Like I said, as soon as you see it, you're like, he did it. He's a villain. I don't even know what he did, but I know he did it. And then when he said that his Coco's parents died in a car crash, I'm like, he did it. He did it. I don't know how he was involved, but he fucking did it. And then at the end, he finally really becomes the villain. But I was like, Jesus Christ, people. If you're going to make it a villain, make this dude a villain, don't make it so fucking obvious. I mean, a good villain is one you don't know is a villain until they finally reveal him. Like, this guy, he kind of like gave you the villain vibes right off the bat. And then he seemed too nice, and you're like, okay, maybe he's really not. No. And then as soon as he said that his Coco's parents died in a car crash, you're like, oh, fuck no. This dude did it. This fucking dude sus as fuck over here. This dude, he did it. Like I said, we see what actually happened. You know, he said about the whole, oh, well, if they were gone, then I'd be able to do things my way, and no one would be able to do anything about it. So he runs them off the road. They have enough time to send Moses down the river, and then their car explodes with them right there, and they get burnt to cinders. So, and then there's this great battle at the very end with this just giant mechanized robot type thing that he's controlling, and all the Zerud are there, and they're fighting him. They find out the weak spot is like the very back, and there's like this really cool sequence with all these Pokemon, the forest Pokemon and the Zerud. Pikachu's really the only one who's able to do it because he had Iron Tail and he's small, so they're all like swinging. They've got the big old green little vines around them that they can, use. They're kind of like Spider-Man because they get extended. So they're all swinging around. They're throwing Pikachu around one to another. Pikachu gets picked up by Flygon, tries to get close, gets knocked back, gets grabbed by someone else, gets closer. Ninjask is there helping out. The Zerud are, throwing Pikachu around, and to the point where Pikachu can use Iron Tail on the back of the machine, which is where everything, the battery, engine, and motor, and all that is. Cuts it and stops working, and just the whole sequence, because it is pretty intense. There's some really great shots, really dynamic shots. That whole sequence I loved. It was such a great sequence. Seeing all these Zerud, flying, whipping on down, having Pikachu and just like tossing him to one another, and Pikachu getting picked up by Flygon or Ninjask, or it was such a great scene. But yeah, I'm obviously not going to spoil everything, but the villain, there's one thing that happens in the movie where you didn't think it would actually be possible, because they talk about something. You see a move in the not the very beginning, but we see a move that Zerud can do. And we see it later on, but it's performed by someone who wasn't really supposed to be able to do it. Because only a few Zerud can learn how to use this move. But, it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. So, if you have Netflix, take the time to watch it. There's also Cramorant. Cramorant, the bird, like, it's got the, just swallows anything. It tries to swallow Pikachu like 2-3 times. I think it was twice. It was first in the beginning, and then Pikachu electrocuted it from the inside. So like Pikachu's booty is like hanging out of Cramorant's mouth, and Ash has him use Thunder Shock. And then once at the closer to the end of the movie, the same thing. So Cramorant just tries to swallow anything. But yeah, great visuals. Like I said, the whole Zerud thing with the throwing Pikachu around to get him behind the machine. Great dynamic shots, a lot of action. So, it was the most action-packed finale for the most part I remember in a while. I've seen most of the movies. And some of them, they have action, but this was like an intense fight. You know, like I said, with them all swinging around, you know, the other Pokemon helping, you know, get Pikachu around. But yeah, it's on Netflix. If you have the time, go ahead and watch it. Anyways, yeah, next video we'll be talking about creepy Pokemon shit. So, anyways, you guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.